The story begins in a small town around the year 1860. In the middle of a forest, there's a house where a woman named Florence lives with her 3 children. Back in those days, around 1860, there was no electricity, so people used candles for light. Even now, Florence is in her room with her kids. One day, when the weather is really bad, Florence notices something strange. She sees a mysterious figure covered in a white cloth. This worries her, especially when it seems to be heading towards her children's room. Florence gets scared and follows it, but when she reaches her children's room, her son is missing. Concerned, she asks her daughter, who claims a black man took her brother. Florence, initially thinking it's just a scare, goes downstairs to search for her son. She asks her maid for help but doesn't find her son. The children's room is empty and Florence starts frantically searching. Suddenly, she notices the white cloth again, and the laughter behind it sends shivers down her spine. Thinking it might be her son playing a prank, she removes the cloth only to find no one there. The story continues for 3 months. There's a lady who knows a lot about ghosts and can talk to them. She's helping a man whose son is missing. At this time, Florence comes into the picture. She asks the lady for help, but the lady refuses. Florence feels really sad because her children haven't been found yet. Then we meet another lady named Kelly. She's also a ghost expert, but her methods are different. Florence tells Kelly that her children went missing 3 months ago, and she believes there's a ghost in her house called Nurseryman. Florence's children used to mention this ghost, but she didn't believe them at first. Now she's convinced that the ghost took her children because she hears them laughing in a strange and scary way, along with her younger daughter crying. Kelly is willing to help Florence. The next day, she goes to Florence's house where all the windows are covered with cloth to avoid seeing the ghost. Kelly removes the cloth, but she can't see anything. It's revealed that this house belonged to Florence's husband's family, and her husband passed away a few years ago. Kelly asks Florence where she hears her children's voices the most. Florence points to the children's room. Kelly then takes out her special rod that she uses to talk to ghosts. When Kelly goes to the children's room, she feels like someone slapped her. Kelly talks to Florence's children, asking if they are there and to make their presence known. ABC blocks fall down, forming the word "here," indicating that the children are present. However, the rod in Kelly's hand gets hot and burns her. We then shift to Kelly's house where her son is. She tells her son about Florence and that she needs help. Kelly's son gives her a letter from Florence where Florence expresses her desire not to live in the house anymore. Florence is reminded of her children when staying in the house. The letter also mentions Kelly's experiences in the house and advises her to stay away from the case. Despite this, Kelly is determined to solve the case. A week later, Kelly moves to Florence's house and removes the cloth from all the windows. She stands in front of the mirror, looking without blinking. Kelly puts holy powder outside the children's room to prevent any soul from leaving. Additionally, she places 3 to 4 bells as part of her method to investigate the other world. Afterward, she reads a book to finish the mirror method, allowing her to explore the other world. While doing this, she notices someone sitting in a chair in the mirror. She senses the presence of Florence's daughter, who had returned to her room after wandering around. The spirit of the nurseryman, a ghost, tries to frighten Kelly repeatedly, but she stands her ground, telling the spirit that it can't scare her or harm her. During one night as Kelly sleeps, she hears crying from the children's room. Investigating, she finds a frightening doll. The following day, when Kelly looks at her neck in the mirror, she discovers strange marks. There are also blocks with the words "I can" written on them. Outside the children's room, Kelly places some coins to protect herself from the spirit. She discovers a drawing made by the nurseryman with the letter A written on it. Kelly's son sends her a letter informing her about an old woman who used to live in the house now owned by Florence. At her son's suggestion, Kelly visits the old woman, who reveals that she sensed a soul in that house for 7 years and is still afraid of it. The old woman shares that the same spirit had caused her brother to disappear, and he was never found. Due to this, they left that house to avoid harm, fearing that the spirit might have harmed the old woman too. Later, Kelly accidentally drops a drawing made by the nurseryman, and the old woman recognizes it as her brother's creation. The brother had vanished, and when he tried to share his experience, no one believed him. When Kelly asks if there's a way to stop the soul, the old woman sadly states there isn't. 7 years ago, a man who lived in the same house came to her for help when his children went missing. Surprisingly, the old woman was talking about Florence's husband. This raises the question, why did Florence's husband seek help from this woman for his missing children 7 years ago? This mystery will be unraveled later. Before parting ways, the old woman reveals a shocking detail. The soul marks everyone it encounters, and those marked eventually meet a tragic end. She warns Kelly that her life is in danger and advises her to leave the house. Despite the warning, Kelly doesn't heed the advice and proceeds to share all the information with Florence. Florence felt really bad about herself when she heard all of this. She blamed herself because she hadn't believed her own children, but her children had tried to tell her. When Kelly asked about her husband's death, Florence explained that the soul had given her husband a sign, and because of that sign, he died. She also received the same sign, so she left that house. After learning all this, Kelly went back to her house. She had asked her son to bring some books written by Florence's husband, who used to teach at the university. Kelly's son brought many books from Darkwood House. They stayed up all night reading, but they couldn't find any answers. Then something strange happened. Kelly's son felt a hand on his shoulder. It scared him a lot, so he left in fear. Kelly discovered the real truth when she read the book written by Florence's husband. He had lived in that house since he was a child, and the soul used to scare him even then. When he grew up and got married, the soul, also known as the nurseryman, made his children disappear. Florence's husband married again and had 2 children, but they also vanished. Then he married Florence, making her his 3rd wife. Even this time he was willing to confront the soul, but before he could, he died. After his death, Florence's children disappeared as well. After learning everything, Kelly goes to the children's room where the nurseryman's ghost was scaring her. She shares all the details with Florence, who becomes very upset and loses control. Seeing Florence in distress, Kelly decides to get her admitted to the hospital for her well-being. Afterward, Kelly returns to Florence's house. Florence's son also visits her in the house. While exploring, he goes to the room where Kelly had placed some coins. He takes one of the coins. Suddenly, he hears the sound of children crying. When he calls for Kelly, she is nowhere to be found. The door closes abruptly. Meanwhile, Florence jumps and loses her life. Kelly returns to the haunted house and confronts the malevolent spirit, challenging it to leave her son and breaking all the windows. She insists that if the spirit wants to take someone, it should take her instead. When she locates her son, she discovers a book revealing an ancient method. According to it, if a person's bones are removed, made holy and buried, the haunting spirit can be freed. After discovering the disturbing truth, Kelly returns to Florence's house. In her search, she finds a significant sign and a skull in one of the rooms. Wanting to end the haunting, Kelly hands the skull to her son, instructing him to bury it. However, during this crucial moment, a malevolent spirit appears, rendering Kelly unconscious. Meanwhile, a fire erupts in Florence's house, intensifying the eerie situation. Despite the challenges, Kelly's son manages to bury the skull. In a poignant scene, a mysterious man stands next to Kelly. He seems to guide or support her in some way. Observing this, Kelly's son, filled with grief, cradles his deceased mother. Kelly, who bravely faced the malevolent force, ultimately loses her life in the process. The sacrifice doesn't go in vain, as the malevolent soul haunting Florence's house is defeated. The enigmatic man we saw offering his hand to Kelly appears to be the soul of Kelly's late husband. It seems he came to guide her into the afterlife. With these events, the story of the film comes to its end.